Welcome, my friend, and thank you for joining me today. I want to share with you a story that has been passed down through generations in my tradition. It is a simple tale about a young scholar who believed he knew everything, and what he learned when he finally met a true master. This young scholar was brilliant, indeed. By the age of 20, he had read every book in the village library, memorized countless verses, and could debate any topic with eloquence and confidence. He traveled far and wide to challenge teachers, always leaving them impressed with his knowledge. One day, he heard of an old master who lived high in the mountains, a man said to possess wisdom beyond measure. The scholar, certain of his own superiority, made the journey to this remote monastery, determined to test the master's knowledge. When he arrived, he found the elderly monk sitting quietly in the garden, tending to a small bonsai tree. The scholar announced himself with great flourish, explaining his vast learning and accomplishments. He expected the master to be impressed. The old monk simply looked at him, nodded politely, and gestured to a nearby chair. "Would you like some tea?" he asked. The scholar agreed, and the master began to pour. But instead of stopping when the cup was full, he kept pouring. Tea spilled over the sides and onto the ground. The scholar watched in astonishment until finally he could bear it no longer. "Master," he exclaimed, "the cup is full. No more tea will go in. You are wasting it." The old monk smiled gently. "Yes, my friend, the cup is full. So full, in fact, that there is no room for anything more. You come to me seeking wisdom, but your mind is like this cup, completely full of what you already think you know." He set down the teapot and looked at the young man with kind eyes. When a cup is full, it cannot be filled further. Only when it is empty can it receive something new. The scholar was taken aback. He had expected intellectual debate, not this simple, almost childlike lesson. The master continued, "We often mistake knowledge for wisdom. Knowledge is what we accumulate, what we store in our minds like books on a shelf. Wisdom, however, is the understanding that comes from emptying ourselves of preconceptions, from being willing to see the world as if for the first time." He gestured to the garden. "Look at this bonsai. I do not force it to grow in a certain way. I observe, I understand, I allow, I prune what is unnecessary. I create space for what needs to flourish." In the same way, we must prune our minds of unnecessary thoughts, create space for new understanding, and allow wisdom to grow naturally. The scholar sat quietly for a long time, his arrogance slowly melting away. He realized that his vast knowledge had become a barrier to true wisdom. His mind was so full of what he thought he knew that there was no room for anything new. This, my friend, is a lesson we all need to learn. How often do we approach life with minds already made up? How often do we listen only to confirm what we already believe? How often do we think we have all the answers when we've only just begun to ask the right questions? The world is trying to teach us something new every moment. But if we are not empty, if we are not open, if we are not willing to be beginners again and again, we miss the lessons life is offering us. So I ask you today, what is your cup filled with? What beliefs, assumptions, and ideas might be preventing you from seeing clearly? What could you let go of to make space for new understanding? True growth begins not with acquiring more knowledge, but with the courage to empty ourselves, to admit what we don't know, to embrace uncertainty, to be willing to start fresh every single day. The path to wisdom is not about filling our minds, but about emptying our hearts. Not about accumulating facts, but about cultivating presence. Not about knowing everything, but about being open to everything. Remember this. The wisest people are often those who are most comfortable saying, "I don't know." They understand that wisdom grows in the space between what we think we know and what we are yet to discover. So my invitation to you today is this. Find a moment to sit quietly, take a few deep breaths, and ask yourself, what can I let go of today? What cup can I empty to make room for new wisdom? For in the emptiness, in the quiet, in the space between thoughts, that is where true wisdom resides. That is where you will find what you are truly looking for. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May you find peace in the emptiness and wisdom in the space between. Now go forth and empty your cup, my friend. The world is waiting to fill it with wonders beyond your imagining.